The game, obviously, anytime you play a game that comes down to one possession score, there's a lot of plays when you watch the film that could have altered the game. And, for us, really going all the way back to how we got things going last year, I think when we turn the ball over and don't take it away more than they do, lose the turnover battle, hasn't been a good formula for us. And in that game Saturday, the 2 turnovers we had, because one of them, when Ramos turned it over, was going in to score, really equated to a 17-point swing. If we score on that drive, which I think we would have, we've been pretty good inside the 5. That's 7 points for us, and ends up going the other way for them in 14-point swing. And then after the fumble, they got a field goal. Obviously, those points are big in a game like that. And we had probably the most negative plays, against our offense that we've had in a while. There were 13 plays in our backfield, and a lot of those were on first down, and that hurts our efficiency on third down. And so, those are things that we need to spend a lot of time on, and we do. We spend the first 5 minutes of every practice on protecting the football on offense and taking it away and tackling on defense. I thought defensively, we had 14 tackles in their backfield, 10 TFLs, and 4 sacks. We were disruptive. We had 5 3-and-outs. The big play, obviously, was a critical play early in the game. The biggest thing that I'm disappointed in, there's just some self-inflicted things that are disappointing for any team. I think when you have a couple penalties that extend drives, which we haven't done, we lost contain on a pressure on the first third down of the game, and we had a sack if we just stay outside of the block as a mental error. And we missed some tackles on their quarterbacks, and I knew we'd miss some, but we missed too many in key situations. And I think, to win one possession games, you got to find a way to make 1 or 2 of those plays. And that's how football is. It's a game of inches, and it's a game of we got to make one more play, one more than they do. I thought we made some good adjustments at halftime, but unfortunately we were down 10 points at that point in time and didn't make it up. We did play well on special teams. We had a big return with Naheem. I thought our punt team protected well, forced a fumble. We had 7 guys around that hit, and it landed right in the lap of one of their guys, which is unfortunate because that was a great hit by Jermaine Pratt. But we bottled up a kid that has been a good returner. Our kickoff coverage was good. Jackson continues to kick the ball well. We blocked the field goal that went through the uprights. We got our hands on the ball, so pressured their field goal team well. Unfortunately, that ball went through. We came out of the game healthy, which is a positive, and the key is just not beating ourselves, and that's my job and our coaching staff's job to continue to work with our players to try to minimize our mistakes. And it's all of our jobs, obviously, to do the best that we can to make that happen. And I'm excited about our team. It's disappointing to lose a game, no doubt, but it's a great team to coach, and excited about the opportunity to take this team on the road to Virginia Tech. And I'm honored to coach a game against Coach Beamer. I think he's one of the classiest people I've met in this business, somebody I really respect and look up to and have for a long time. To coach in a game against someone that has 275 wins. I know he's only had 10-plus wins, but win seasons, that's a lot. But if you average out his career, that's averaging 10 wins a year for 27 years. That's pretty remarkable for a college coach to be able to do that and stay at the same place and do it the way he's done. They've blocked 136 kicks in his tenure, and he's got an 80% record at home. So, we've got a great challenge in front of our football team. Looking at them, statistically, they're averaging close to 32 points a game, 380 some yards, very balanced. They have an athletic quarterback, and he's gotten better as the season's gone on. He's played in some tough weather games, which I know has probably hurt their pass game a little bit. Defensively, they're giving up some big plays, but they're really, really athletic, quick twitch, disruptive crew. They lead the ACC in takeaways. They make a lot of plays. They've given up some plays in the run game, but they make a lot of plays. Their front You know, has 3 defensive linemen, Maddie, Marshall, and Nicholas, that were all conference players. Their middle linebacker, number 54, is really fun to watch for a guy that was a linebacker coach. I mean, he's disruptive, quick twitch, athletic guy. And both their safeties are active. You know, it's a aggressive defense, and they blitz a lot. They play a lot of man-to-man, play a lot of press coverage. You know, on offense, you know, they've had their share of injuries there, but they still have some guys that are really good. They're tight ends, both their tight ends, Hodges and Malik, have 2 touchdowns each and are averaging over 13 yards a catch. And their receiver, Isaiah Ford, is averaging 16 yards and has 24 receptions. So, you know, it's going to be a tough game against a good coaching staff and a good crew, and I'm looking forward just to get back on the field with our players and get back to work. You know, it's an opportunity to take another step on the road and play in a great place. You know, I've heard so many good things about playing up there, from the entrance that they have to the environment. I'm excited to go up there and face the challenge. Any questions?
Now that you've had a chance to look at the film, is there something that gives you confidence that you can get back to running the ball the way that you had been?
Yeah, I mean, there were some good things. I mean, when you lose 60 yards like we did on those 13 plays, that hurts your production, obviously. We had some very good runs in the game, but we weren't able to sustain the down and distances that we need to stay on the field and continue to run the ball like we've been able to. You know, I think some of our linemen played really well, and some of them struggled against a really good defensive tackle. I think, you know, Rankins is a really good player, and we knew that he would penetrate at times and cause problems, and he did. But I'm not doubtful about our ability to run the football. You know, I just think we've got to do a better job of staying on schedule, and if both of those drives where we turn the football over aren't what they are, it's probably a different conversation in here today, you know, but that's how it went down.
Along those lines, much was made during their game with Ohio State about their defensive front, the bear front that they use. The challenge that presents for you guys, I'm not sure if it takes away more of the middle. Do you have to go back to some of the jets that you didn't use against Louisville?
Well, it's hard to run up the middle on these guys. I mean, their Mike is a really good player, like I mentioned, and their 3 all-conference players are right there in the center of it. So they pack it in. I mean, if you look at their runs, they've given up something like 26 runs over 20 yards, and a lot of them are quarterback runs, you know. Almost all of them are quarterback runs, and that's not what we do the most, you know. So to get your tailback going, there's other things you have to be able to do. You're not going to sit there and just run downhill on their loaded front all day and have a good day doing it, you know. There's going to be some 2-yard and some 3-yard and some 4-yard gains, and then you got to make a guy miss and pop it, you know. And the good thing is I think our backs are good at breaking contact and running through people and making guys miss, and we've got to get the ball in space. We've got to use our ability to get on the edges with our jets that you mentioned, and we've got to throw the football. You know, we can't just sit there and pound it every snap. So that's the biggest thing, is protection against them, because I mean they're bringing 5 or 6 or 7 guys a lot.
Mike Rose said on Saturday that the biggest difference he thought in this year's team as opposed to last year's team was that this year's squad would be able to put the Louisville game behind them quicker, bounce back quicker. What type of character traits do you see in this year's team that gives you the same faith that they'll be able to let it go?
Well, when we talked yesterday as a team, I said that to them. You know, I said, hey, look, we've learned that 1 tough loss can't equal 2. If we don't win at Virginia Tech, let's not lose the game because of the last game. You know, let's go play it as hard as we can and execute with everything we have and let the chips fall where they fall. And I said, let's not lose because of last week's game, and everybody was nodding. They all understood. I said, nobody's going to be down on you. Nobody's quitting on you. No one's pointing fingers at you. We're all with you, and we're going to be positive, and you need to be positive, and let's move forward. And the guys were great about it. So, you know, that's the approach we need to take. We don't have time to feel sorry for ourselves. You know, we've got to get up and go.
Coach, it's a Friday night game. High school coaches really don't like that too
Yeah.
much. What's your thoughts on that? And I guess in the reverse of that, you can tell all your recruits that you really want to talent. So you watch how to balance that.
It's tough, you know. I mean, obviously, all the programs that play on a national stage enjoy that stage. You know, I mean, our players are excited about being the team that's on, and I know our university, I'm sure theirs as well, is proud to be on TV that night, and so that part of it's really positive. You know, and obviously, we'll tell our recruits that we're on and ask them to watch. As far as the high school part of it, I get that. I was a high school coach, and Friday nights are forever. We're high school football, but you know. Today it's not that way. I mean, there's football on almost every night of the week, and when you get to November, I think it is on every night of the week once the MAC starts playing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So, you know, that's just how things have changed.
Defensively, I don't know if this was one of your adjustments or not, but were you too far off the ball in the first half? Seemed like they were hitting a lot underneath you on the passing, because I know they only had 103 yards passing, but
they got us on a couple underneath throws. Yeah. And I think what happens at times, Joe, when you're playing a quarterback that's a runner, is your eyes get off of the routes and you just stare at the guy because you're thinking he's going to take off and you want to go get him. And I think early in the game, Jared and Dre were both doing that. As on film, I mean, he would look at one guy and he would take off, and he wasn't doing that. Now, you know, we had to get their eyes back into their route progressions and matching routes the right way, and you know, we weren't as concerned about that part of the game. You know, I mean, we didn't think he would throw the ball to beat us, which he didn't. You know, I mean, it was the long run that he had that really was the difference in their offense.
With the shortage of yards from Louisville, does that mean we're going to see a lot more passing for Virginia Tech's game with their offensive line? How much running and throwing do you want to balance out?
Well, we're always going to be balanced in our efforts, and sometimes some of the runs come in the form of passes. You know, I think, like to us, the quick screens or the quick flat throws, or the balls in and out of Jacoby's hands, the bubbles, those are like run plays to us. So, you know, whether we have to use more of those to get the ball outside or not. But I do think it's important that we don't become one-dimensional, and that's not who we are. You know, that doesn't fit our strengths. So we've got to find smart ways to run the football, where we're not just pounding our head against the wall, and we've got to do a good job of using our formations and our motions to find some advantages.
Coach, you alluded to the entrance they have up there for a night game, and obviously once that's over, you play the game, and
Yeah.
it's like any game. But that is a moment that not every player gets to experience, or every coach.
Right.
And so how do you appreciate it and then move on from it?
It's funny, during training camp, you know, we have our players come up and do a presentation each night and about our commandments, and this one is focus, and our O-line did the presentation. And we talked about this game because that's what the word was attributed to, was being able to maintain your focus and their crowd noise, and obviously with I don't know what the right word is, but the hype that they get, you know, in the opening minutes of the game. You have a similar experience when you go to Florida State and Clemson, obviously, with their openings. And so, you know, the guys are excited about it. We talked about it, and it's great to be a part of an environment like that. And, you know, you just got to enjoy the moment and kind of take it in as a life experience, and then lock your focus back into the 60 minutes of football.